family, friends, fellow law enforcement, community leaders, and neighbors, thank you for joining us today. We knew this day would come, but that hasn't made it any easier. Only 21 days since the beginning of the new year, so full of hope and promise, yet we have already seen 5 of our own wounded and killed in the line of duty. It was only 5 days ago, Friday, that we helped put our brother Jason Rivera to rest. And one would think that we would feel just a little bit of closure. But we woke up again on Saturday and felt the crushing weight of the realization that we would be here once again to bury another of our own, Wilbert Mora. And this reality brought us to our knees yet again. The members of the 32nd Precinct have been through a tremendous strain. We are mourning, but we are resilient. We are still standing and finding ways to cope and persevere, both for ourselves and the Mora and Rivera families. Whether it's through coordinating events with and for the families, or memorializing our fallen brothers on challenge coins or t-shirts, we realize that through unity and being there for each other, we will find strength to get through this. And as we strengthen our resolve, we can in turn look to our family, the Mora family, and do what we can to fill the deafening silence that has blanketed their lives. If there's one thing we've learned through this, it is that continued support and care are essential to our collective healing. Wilbert Mora has given so much for our community. Let's make sure Wilbert's family knows that we, his extended family, love him dearly. I also call upon the public to do the same. Show our fallen brother and his family your support. They feel and appreciate your love and kind gestures, and will need it in abundance as they grieve his loss. Wilbert is just as much our son as he was Amalia's and Badui, as much a brother to us as he was to Wilson, Jonathan, and Karina. Let's not forget how important his contribution to our society is. Let's not forget his sacrifice. He was a son of our city, a new breed of officers, child of the change you asked for. He was the American dream. He was what you wanted and hoped for in your police officer. Wilbert. His professional journey began as a police cadet in October 2018 in the 25th Precinct. He quickly made an impression due to his stature and his temperament. He would never get angry or frustrated, and was so eager to learn, a trait that would remain throughout his career. He studied criminal justice at John Jay, where the likely topics discussed would prepare him for a career that would place him front and center with civil unrest, policy changes regarding restrictions, and increased constraints on law enforcement and bail reform. Like Jason, Wilbert would not be deterred from his calling. He remained steadfast and resilient as he completed the academy and came right back home to serve the Central Harlem community in November of 2019, with his assignment 32nd Precinct. His fellow officers describe him as funny and outgoing, a gentle giant, being well over 6 feet tall and over 250 pounds. But it was said that when he walked, he never made a sound. If you were going through a hard time and needed a friend to lean on or a shoulder to cry on, no matter what time, day or night, Wilbert would be on FaceTime lending that support. And he was also very generous with his hugs. The leader that he is, Wilbert looked out for the new officers in the precinct. He took them under his wing and showed them the nuances of patrol. He was meticulous, looking over their paperwork to make sure every box was checked and all necessary questions asked and answered. His approach should be the model for those in the field training program. Wilbert would also organize group events to increase camaraderie amongst his coworkers, whether it was going out to eat or playing Call of Duty on his PlayStation late at night. I was told he wasn't very good at it, but it didn't stop him. Because it wasn't about winning, but of forging a family held together by a common thread with a common purpose to serve and protect. While on patrol, he was all business. He took his responsibility to the public very seriously. He would respond to every job, and while assigned, he would take his time making sure all services were met and all parties satisfied before leaving. So as a cop, if you were on a hospitalized prisoner or a foot post and you needed food or a bathroom break, he wasn't the one to call. But that was because he was committed to his obligation to help the public and do so without delay. He would get to you. You wouldn't be forgotten. It was just marked out upon completion. In the field, his supervisors were all extremely confident in his abilities to assess and make decisions. He was a guy to rely on to make the right call, no matter the nature of the job. This trait, especially with only 3 years on, showed a competency level generally attributed to cops much more senior than himself. He had his eyes on leadership and was studying for the sergeant's exam. His diligence and dedication to his work earned him the task of being designated as a steady sector David, the toughest in the command. This rising star with a promising future was taken from us on January 21st, a day that changed our lives forever and punctuated the risks we face in even a seemingly routine job. On this dreadful day, Wilbert took the lead and did everything right as he, along with Detective Rivera and Officer Sulan, set out to answer a call for help. He asked all the right questions and gave instructions to the younger officers with the primary goal of de-escalation. However, this seemingly routine and innocuous call for help quickly escalated into a firefight. With limited space and cover, Wilbert used precious seconds while still in the line of fire to return fire. Being the born leader and protector that Wilbert was, he didn't freeze but fought back, trying to stop the threat and hopefully save others. To the Mora family, and especially his brother Wilson, know that Wilbert went out fighting. Although he's gone, you can be proud that, like you, he was a soldier and a warrior and tried to protect himself and his fellow brothers. On that dreadful day, Wilbert kept his promise to serve and protect, and did so until his last breath. As officers of the law, we must walk the fine line of having to keep our guard up and being on the ready, while still expected to treat situations with our guard down, both in visible appearance and even in action, often against better judgment. These 3 young men, 2 immigrants, and 1 first-generation American, went into that situation with no intention of ever using their weapons. But the person they encountered had other designs in mind. We are thankful that Officer Sulan had the time, ability, and presence of mind to react in that instance. Officer Sulan, we thank you for your act of bravery. Only time and the knowledge that these 2 lives, Wilbert and Jason, short-lived but well spent, given in devoted service and love for their fellow man, will bring us healing. Wilbert was dedicated to his profession and the community he served. He policed with empathy and believed in protecting his fellow man, regardless of the inherent danger to himself. And though we are consumed with excruciating grief, members of the NYPD, I ask you, do not give up hope on our profession. It would be betrayal and injustice to our fallen heroes. Amalia and Badui, you raised an altruist. And even though he no longer walks with us, he has given the greatest gift of all, life. Because of Wilbert, 5 strangers have been given the continuation of life. He is a hero. Please know that he will never be forgotten. As his colleagues pass and touch his locker, thoughts and prayers will forever go out for him. His presence and impact always felt. Wilbert, your life, bravery, and sacrifice will be catalysts for change. Rest in peace, my brother. You have fought the good fight. You have given us the examples to follow. Thank you.